This is America. The greatest atrocity against mankind. American chattel slavery. If you traced your lineage, what would you find? Do you know where your roots lead to?
Grace and peace, Black family. This is Vicky Dillard, your sister with the curly braids. And I want you to get ready for the new Master Elements project, The Spear and the Shield.
This vaccine isn't experimental. It's like a dandelion. You overlook it for they weird science.
DJ RP Beats and Sincere Love the God have taken this time during the pandemic to carefully craft the soundtrack to Black empowerment, with hot tracks like God Mine, featuring Sadat X of the legendary group Brand Nubians.
We never die. I made an ancestral shrine. Let's see what's in the God's mind. Listen, I'm a law in the person of sincere of the God. That mean your arms too short like Carl Anthony Shaw.
God painted me black.
God painted me black. Thanks for that. I'm a original man.
A letter to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
I say to the ancestors. Dear Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, I just wanted to thank you for all the lessons you left us. So yes, I'm more than grateful.
And the controversial song Buck Breaking God today.
Why every black show they gotta have a transgender? Either I'm crazy or there's gotta be a planned agenda.
Get ready, Black family. This is a much needed project. This is The Spear and the Shield.
Hello, welcome again to the YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Claude Anderson, your host. I'm here to bring you a section of broadcasting or podcasting. It is now called Connecting the Dots, which means we try to take what's going on presently and connect it to history so you can find out what was in the center that's missing that nobody wants to talk about. That's why they're right now saying, we don't need no racial history in this country. We're for right and trying to pass laws that's forbidden to teach history, because what they want to do is to make sure that nobody ever finds out why blacks are in their dilemma in this country and any place on the world, including Haiti and all these Caribbean islands. It defies mathematical probability for black folk to be on the bottom all around the world and to have been there for 465 years. That's no accident. Black folk have never been permitted to be any more or any less than what white folk wanted them to be. You see, the whole point of history was that when white Europeans came to this country, they came here as freeloaders. And see, when you all don't call them that, that's exactly what they are. They knew they were coming as freeloaders. When they entered out all the prisons, all the poorhouses, all the mental institutions, and put them on boats and sent them over to the United States. And the first thing they did was build form a new state called Georgia, and to build a filter to stop the run of slaves from running away from South Carolina into Florida. But that whole thing was built and designed to keep black folk contained. And the reason they're going to try to do that, because you see, because black slaves were I call native blacks, because they're not African blacks, they're natives. These blacks are born in the United States, are born on ships after they were kidnapped out of Africa. So they're not Africans. They were raised totally independently, either on those boats or and after they arrived in America for the last 400 some years. They are natives. Plus, in addition to that, we had blacks in this country as Folsom people way before the American Indians ever came to this country, were ever formed, and came out of Asia across the Bering Straits. And so the Indians trying to get ahead of blacks by saying, we are natives. You're not any natives either. You came across the Bering Straits after blacks. That everybody on the earth came to the earth and followed black folk. The only natives you got on the earth are black people. They were the original natives. Everybody else came here. They were followers. They came here and were raised in either in Asia or European, on the European continent, or in the Pacific Islanders as freeloaders. They got some of the free benefits of what the historical blacks were creating on the earth. Blacks were the original people on the earth. And so what do you call them? Native Americans or original people? That's what blacks are entitled to, which makes them very special people. And so right now, we need to do something about these blacks with the present administration. See, Biden got elected with he and Harris running as vice president because they promised they're going to do certain things for black folk. They've been in there now over a year, about a year and almost a year and a half, and they have not done one single thing for black folk. I don't think the word black has ever crossed their lips since they got elected. But now, when it was time for the vote to go out, they put up a pretense, a false, a straw man talking about, we got to get the black vote because that a black vote is exempt. We need to have that to get elected. First of all, they didn't need the black vote because you see, black folk were outnumbered 9-1 in this country. You got 9 other ethnic groups in the country, and if you break it down to parts, black folk only constitute 1 out of the 9 or 10 groups in this country. So black vote is not that necessary. They did that because they're gonna do what they call sneaky suppression of the black vote. They've been suppressing the black vote since the Constitution in 1789. And people are talking about they're suppressing our vote. The Constitution suppressed your vote. Until you go back and deal with the Constitution and correct it, you're gonna always be suppressed. And that's built into the Constitution, that black folk were to be suppressed. And even in after the Civil War, they went back and suppressed you again in the second Constitution. You got 2 constitutions in the United States. You got the first one written by Thomas Jefferson, and back in 1789, and you got a second Constitution that was written in 1865. It was written strictly and solely for black folk. Later on, they changed it from being a second Constitution because they didn't want you to know about it. And in there, that's where all your civil rights acts came out of, because the whole point of the civil rights movement was supposed to be to correct the Dred Scott decision of 1857, which says black people in America have no rights, but you do have rights. You got a second Constitution, which is started with the 13th Amendment. The 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendment are major elements in the second Constitution. And on top of that, they put in what's called the Civil Rights Law that was passed in 1865 and 1866, which specifically identified black folk and said the whole point of these laws and the civil rights laws and those constitution amendments is to correct and reverse the 1857 Dred Scott decision. They're not there. They didn't put those laws up for minorities or poor folk. You didn't have the minorities and poor folk in America. All those people started coming to America after the Civil War was over. When they come in, they can come in here and they can get low wages and work on the railroads like the Chinese and all of them, but they were still safe. Nobody was denying them anything. They can have their own communities and have their own businesses and make money that way and be competitive with black folk. So Chinese, Asians came in here. They've been coming in ever since. And lately they've been bringing in either Pacific Islanders who've been doing very well because they're displacing black folk. You go to a hospital or for any kind of a medical treatment right now, about 90% of the medical people you're going to find in those various institutions and those organizations are going to be other people other than blacks or whites. They're going to be people coming in either from the Far East, from Asia, or coming in from the Pacific Islands. And so you find out another thing they're doing now. These Asians are coming into the country and raising Cain and trying to find bills that would say black folk are not entitled to preferential treatment in the university and admission processes in these universities, on set-asides for minorities. Black folk are not a minority. They are a majority. They've always been an exceptional majority. They're exceptional people. They're special people. They're entitled in special treatment that this country has never given them. And that's what black folks should be in the streets doing right now. It's saying we are special, unique people. Nobody in this country, no ethnic group, religious group, cultural group has come here and suffered the way we have been denied all the rights and privileges that we've been denied. They're coming and getting all the opportunities that we've been denied. To get out there and start doing it, start raising Cain and says, we're going back to the Power Pack books that Dr. Anderson put out. Everything we need to know is in those Powernomics books. You can get those books by going to the website. Go to powernomics.com and get the Power Pack and start to reading the first one at the bottom of the pack, which is Black Labor, White Wealth. It'll take you straight up through 5 books, and there won't be one question that you can ask that should not have been answered by now and in those books. Get out there as soon as you can and order it off the website. And if you can't do that, just call the Powernomics Corporation and order it on the phone. I look forward to hearing from you. You take care, love, respect, and safe. Be safe in any regard other than that, and being endangered by what's going on overseas in Ukraine. Thank you. See you next time.
With vast intelligence, we mastered the elements. I'm unapologetic. They call me a black supremacist. Knowing that's a contradiction. All right, what's going on, family? I know I sound crazy as hell right about now, but I'm here.
Sunday.
Say what?
I said it started Sunday.
It started on Sunday?
It started on Sunday. No, maybe last night. Last night.
Last night, man. Last night I was going in on here messing with y'all into Harker Bay's ass.
That was a great show, by the way. That was fun. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Marcel for Congress out here. Okay.
No, my brother.
Okay. Is that orange? Is my
It's
color?
actually red, but my lighting, maybe I need to change the color.
Okay. It looks dope if it was orange though.
Oh, I think it's this one. Yeah, it's red.
It looks dope if it wasn't orange. You got like a kind of like a, I don't know.
It looks orange in the lighting, but it's very, very red. It's very nice and colorful. I love it. Since Tariq wore his on Saturday, I was like, well, shoot, I'm popping mine on the broadcast on Wednesday.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Shout out to Marcel Dixon.
Yes.
One of our reparations candidates.
Yes.
And peace to the family. Welcome to another episode of SincereluvdagodCast. This is the Black Business Showcase. I am the God Sincere Love. Of course, here with my lovely co-host, nyctegur. We in the building with another special edition of the Black Business Showcase. We got another reparations candidate coming to the stage for y'all tonight. Let the vetting begin.
Let the vetting begin. I was gonna say it. Y'all know what we do around here.
Let the vetting begin. Let me get my sounds right and all that, man. Let me make sure I'm prepared. Let me make sure I'm prepared over here.
All right, let's talk about this Black agenda.
Right. You know, so we had to open it up with the great Dr. Claude Anderson. You know what I mean? Since we talking reparations and tangibles for foundational Black Americans, Native Blacks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Shout out to the God, Dr. Claude Anderson. Some chick named Star in the building. Cool Keezy in the building. Appreciate you for the alley-oop, fam. Peace, Seduction Dog. What's going on? All right. We got any other announcements before we get started? Anything we need to get out the way? Any preliminaries we need to get out the way before we get started?
Crown 808s. You want to do that?
Yeah, let me shout out my sister Crown 808.
Shout out my sister Crown 808. You know, she got a business too.
Yes, indeed.
She has a Black business, so let's definitely shout out our sister's business.
Let me get that pulled up. And man, let me tell y'all, while I'm pulling that up, let me tell y'all, man, today, my brother, shout out to DJ RP Beats.
Yeah.
Man, he sent me one of the joints that they mixed.
I got it too.
Really, RP? Really, RP? Really, DJ RP Beats?
I'm special. I'm part of the group.
Oh Lord, I am the group. Nigga don't even want to send me nothing. He like, nah, you gonna leak it. You gonna let the cat out the bag. I don't trust you. He don't want to send me the goddamn song. You gonna send it to you?
Listen, I'm part of the group, and see, he can trust me because I'm not gonna just put it out there like that. And he didn't even give me a disclaimer. I just knew for some reason, the spirit told me not to post it. The spirit led me.
RP, you don't know that lady. RP, you don't know that lady, man.
You know me. Yes, you do. Stop hating.
That shit finna be all over the West Coast. Fucking around with nyctegur.
I'm part of the group. I'm an honorary member.
What's the name of the song, nycte?
You know what? He didn't put that.
You don't know the name of the song?
I don't know that. He didn't tell. Honestly, he didn't give me the name of the song. Just the actual.
You heard it though? What you thought?
I heard it.
What you thought about it?
I definitely heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait for y'all to hear that joint, man. But anyway, shout out to Crown 808. Our virtual assistant, your virtual assistant. Anybody who needs virtual assistant services from our sister, make sure y'all look her up. She's an HR generalist. She can handle your emails, your calendars, your events, your travel. She does research projects, project management, proposals and contracts. She's a board of directors, liaison, and a strategic thought partner. Hit up Crown 808 for your virtual assistant services at 205-509-7083. Info at crown808.com. IG and Facebook, she's at Crown 808. Y'all gonna have to bear with me with my voice tonight, man.
I guess that's you lost it after straightening, having to do some straightening with our brother Tahaka. You know what I'm saying?
Nigga Tahaka put a writ on a nigga. That nigga got a voodoo doll over there, man. Put a writ on it. What's up? Walmart? Yeah. So let me let y'all know who we got coming to the stage, man. I'm gonna read from the website. Okay. Meet Jesse LaShawn Parris, your next mayor of Denver 2023. Changing white supremacy rules to the Black agenda. Being of service to the most vulnerable people in Denver, Colorado. Replacing the system with one of actual justice. Saying I'm intending on putting our Black priorities first for once. Sorry. So, vote black first is what I am saying, unapologetically. My opposing fan base in the same skin and in the same community as I would say, I am playing a very provocative game of identity politics. I am not. I just wonder what's wrong with my people. Why are they so uncomfortable? No, why are they so comfortable with crumbs and pacifying acts of symbolism? Just to not struggle moving out of our Black neighborhoods, neglect of our elders, school-age children, criminalizing our unhoused family, lack of livable, workable wage that keeps us in homes and employed. I think that's a typo. I think it's homeless and unemployed is what that should have been. All right, but why is everyone so easily pacified by Democratic leaders with pretty talking points, broad and ambiguous language of inclusivity for all and fake promises for a better city? We have seen for decades, and with the most of the leaders that have ran this city, they will run their behind off to raise all the money in the world and will say anything to get your one little free vote of confidence. End result, city is in financial debt, governmental cronyism, misappropriation of the people's funds and resources, civil unrest, full jails, ramped up gentrification, a polluted and treeless city, unhoused and ill folk dealing with psychosis, addiction, blatant poverty caused by the same government that wants to clean it up. Laughable, really. I'm so serious about this being neglect and just doing for the dominant majority. Someone has to change it. And the least stand up to the demand to force the hand of change right now, not in 5-10 years, but right now, and most importantly, in April of 2023. Sounds very bold, ladies and gentlemen.
Very bold. I like it so far. I'm a fan.
Sounds very bold. So who is Jesse Parris? Jesse Parris says he's a Black grassroots candidate running for mayor in Denver, Colorado in 2023. I won't use broad and ambiguous terms for inclusionary goals, he says. The needs of the Black community, which is our youth, elders, incarcerated men and women, will be met enthusiastically with serious, tangible change, no symbolism, realistic timeframes, and results. Well, let's get into it then, Mr. Jesse Parris. You talking big talk.
Right.
You got the language down pat. Let's see if you're really about this life.
Right.
So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our guest for this evening, for Denver Mayor, Mr. Jesse Parris.
Hey, peace to the family.
I gotta give you one of those. I gotta give you one of those. Welcome to the GodCast, Black man.
Thank you for having me.
Now you will forgive me and accept my apology for misspelling your name on the flyer. Right?
Yes.
That was my bad. Blame it on the brain, not the heart. I did correct it for the video title. It should be corrected on all of the platforms, but the flyer, I caught wind of it a little bit too late, so I apologize for that.
Okay, it's all good. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Yes.
We are really excited to have you. I mean, just from what I read on the site, like I said, I was like, ooh, this is exactly what we need. You know what I'm saying? Yes. We need more Jessies and Marcells out here. Yes. So yeah, definitely excited to chop it up with you and hope the family is excited as well. If you guys have questions, please fill it up in the chat. Or if you want to ask him directly, let us know. We'll drop the link and you guys can, communicate with our brother directly.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so you're no stranger to the show. You're no stranger to the platform. You know how we do things around here. So who is Jesse Parris, man? Let us get that origin story.
Jesse Parris is a Black grassroots candidate that's from Denver, Colorado. He is a community activist, a community organizer, and a revolutionary. And I'm running for Denver mayor in 2023. I want to bring radical revolutionary change to the city. I want to put Black people first, our issues first, our needs first. That is something that has been lacking in politics for a very long time. So I am one of the B1 brigadiers. I've been tuned in, on code with everything that the new Black media has been saying for at least 5 years now. I'm also a scholar in Newly Fuller. I have his books. So I'm on code and I'm codified.
Yes, sir. And so when did you decide that it was time for you to get involved politically and go ahead and run for mayor of your city out there? Are you from Denver?
Yes, I'm born and raised in Northeast Denver, in a section of town known as the East Side, and another section of the town known as Park Hill. And those are predominantly, at one time, they were predominantly Black communities and neighborhoods. Now they've been gentrified. And what got me into politics was my revolutionary father by the name of Chairman Sekou. He was one of the founders of the Black Panther Party here in Denver, Colorado, back in the 1960s. And he ran for mayor a few times. So I got to see how the process worked. But he's the one that got me involved in the politics, because prior to that, I wasn't trying to deal with politics at all. The catalyst for me that set me off with the activism was after Trayvon Martin got killed. That set me off and set me on this course that I've been on for 10 years now.
Is this your first time running?
No, this is actually my second time running. The first time I ran for city council at large of Denver. I got almost 15,000 votes with no money, no media recognition, none of that. I was just present at all of the meetings, the city council meetings. Wherever there was a camera, I tried to be there to get my face out there and get my name known.
And talk more about that experience running for office. What did you learn? You know what I'm saying? That time around that will benefit you this time around. Running for a bigger office. You know what I'm saying? So talk about that first experience and what it was like, moving in those circles and going up against, the monster that it is being an outsider.
It was a difficult process. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it takes a lot for you to be able to run for political office. Not everybody's cut out for this. So you have to have really strong skin, thick skin to run for political office at the local level, state level, federal level. So I started off going to city council meetings. That was my catalyst. I started off attending all the regularly scheduled city council meetings throughout the weeks, the ones on Mondays and the ones that they have throughout the week. I was showing up in person in the chambers. I would be with my pops. He's been showing up at city council for the past 15 years. So we've been giving him hell for at least 15 years now. And they actually passed a whole decorum because of us. So they have stuff where you can't say stuff. You can't say certain words. You can't. You have to address the council as a whole. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but basically, we made a mark on them, and now they're scared. In 2020, we actually took over the chambers. An organization called Party for Socialism and Liberation took over the chambers on the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's death, of his killing at the hands of Derek Chauvin. So, I mean, Denver had protests out of this world. There were protests all over this country, if y'all recall. And Denver was at the forefront of a lot of those protests. So I was at majority, I wouldn't say all the protests, but I was at majority of them. And
now, what do you mean by took over the chambers, and who is we?
So we was the people, and this organization called Party for Liberation and Socialism, or PSL. Them and several members of the community that were already protesting already came to the council chambers and said, no more business as usual. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this business as usual anymore. So they literally took over the chambers, took over the mic, took over the stand. People were passed out on the floor. It was a whole action, a whole demonstration that took place in the city council chambers. And after that, they moved the meetings to online to Zoom. And then their excuse for doing it was COVID. But we know the real reason why they did it.
Right. Question for you. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so it sounded like it was some real shit, not no fake getting fake arrested and all of that type of shit going on for the cameras and all of that. Because we didn't even see it.
Yeah, so that's what I was
thinking. I'm surprised it didn't go viral. Like,
yeah, I'm surprised it didn't go viral, but everybody here in Denver knew about it because, I mean, I'm a regular at city council. I'm there every week. I've been telling them since 2019 I'm going to be the next mayor of Denver, so it didn't come as a surprise. But getting back to the at-large, so when I was running for at-large, I wasn't fully on the Black First agenda. I was, but I wasn't. Like, I still included brown people or so-called brown people in the mix, or so-called people of color. I've since do not use that language anymore. I'm not inclusive. I'm for Black people first, period. And when I say I'm Black first, they automatically assume, well, you're just Black only. No, I'm for others too, but I'm for our people first. Our people are the ones that need to be prioritized. Our people are the ones whose needs to be met. And we are in a state of emergency. And none of these politicians seem to care because they're too busy hobnobbing and shaking elbows with the opposition.
Right, I agree. So we know how our people are as well. You know, Black people have this tradition, I guess, if you will, of voting blue, no matter who. What are you running on? What ticket? Democrat, Republican, Independent? What's yours?
I'm running independent. I'm an independent Unity Party candidate. I've been a part of the Unity Party here in Colorado for the past 2 years. I'm actually the junior chairman of the state party. In the state of Colorado, we have a minor legitimate party called the Unity Party. And we run candidates for office. I have an organization, Black Star Action Movement for Self-Defense and Positive Action Commitment for Social Change. We run candidates for political office. So when I ran in 2019, I wasn't the only one that ran. We had a whole ticket of people. And out of that ticket, only one person won, and that was Candy C. DeBaca, who's the councilwoman for District 9 now.
Okay. And how many of y'all was running?
It was about 5 of us.
What are some of the different seats, if you can remember, that people were going for?
So we have Lamone Knowles running for District 8, which is the district that I live in currently. That's basically Park Hill,
North, city council,
East, Northeast Park Hill. Yeah, that's District 8, or what is it called? They call it now Central Park and part of Montbello. That's District 8. So we had her running. We had a Latino or Latinx, whatever, the Hispanic person by the name of David Roybal. He ran for District 3. Then we had somebody running. We had another Latinx running for District 1. We had Lamone Knowles' sister, by the way, too. So we had her running for District 8. We had Candy running for District 9. She's Latinx. and we had it was another person that we had running for city council, and then we had my pops. After he stopped running for mayor, he ran for city, not city. He ran for Congress, for Senate, for the state of Colorado, and he was in a race with Hickenlooper and others. It was like a whole bunch of people that was running for Senate in 2019. And he did all right. He got about almost 10,000 votes with no money, no media recognition. So, I mean, we've been doing this stuff for like 10 years now. So
what made you decide to run on a Black First agenda and also reparations?
what made me, well, I've always been in support of reparations. I've always said that we needed our 40 acres and a mule even before I started tuning into the new Black media, because I'm a product of Panther Cubs. My family is Panthers and Garbyites. So I was instilled with Black First before it was cool, before it was trendy, before it was a thing. So I've always had that ideology, if you will, that I'm going to put Black people first. And the reason why I decided to run for mayor is because in 2012, the city passed this thing called the urban camping ban. Now, the urban camping ban makes it illegal for you to survive on the streets of Denver. You could be arrested, ticketed, or harassed just for covering yourself with a tent, a tarp, a sleeping bag. Anything besides your own clothing is deemed illegal in the city and county of Denver. And myself, I'm the only candidate that's running for mayor or even city council for that matter in this election cycle that was unhoused under this current ordinance, which is the urban camping ban. So I joined an organization called Denver Homeless Out Loud. I was part of that organization for like 7 years. We fought adamantly to get that camping ban off of the books. We ran state house bills for 4 years straight. They called them the Right to Rest Acts. We partnered with groups out of California, Oregon, and Washington called RAP, Western Regional Advocacy Project, which is based out of San Francisco, California. And we used to take trips every year to San Francisco for the face-to-face that we would have with the other groups that encompassed it, RAP. So in 2019, when I ran for city council at large, we ran a ballot initiative, which was Initiative 300. We got 900 signatures to get it on the ballot. And we turned them in October of 2018. And we had a big ceremony when we turned them in. There's plenty of pictures. I was in the paper behind it, all kinds of stuff, right? So while I'm running for city council at large, I'm also promoting Initiative 300. Now, they waged an all-out campaign against Initiative 300. They said that no on 300. We can do better is what they kept saying. They had ads, TV commercials. These people called Together Denver raised $2.5 million to oppose Initiative 300.
What was 300, by the way?
300, Initiative 300 was the Right to Survive initiative. And basically what it was going to do was going to give people that were on the streets, such as myself, because at one point I was on the streets, the basic rights that people with homes would have, the rights to privacy, the rights to dignity, the rights to your stuff, your whatever you have, right? So the city's been doing these sweeps. They call them cleanups, but they're sweeps. And they've been ramping up the amount of sweeps that they've been doing. So me and my lady, who helped draft everything that you read, we've been attending the sweeps. That's been a ritual of ours. Every week we would go to a sweep. We would film the sweep. We would yell at the police. Whatever are you doing this? These people have nowhere to go. Where do you expect people to move along to? Our whole saying at Denver Homeless Out Loud was move along to where? Where do you want people to move along to? Because they have this idea of out of sight, out of mind. Oh, we don't want to see visible poverty. Well, you need to create a city where people can afford to live. This has become the mile high income city. You have to have mile high income to afford to live here. And I want to make it where this city has a heart. So not only am I the Black grassroots candidate, the pro-Black candidate that's for Black people first, I'm also the candidate with a heart because I've been there. I've been through that struggle. I know what it's like to not know where you're going to sleep night to night, day to day, where you're going to get food from day to day. I'm the only candidate that's actually fed the unhoused, clothed the unhoused, housed the unhoused. So, like, I'm not talking about what I'm going to do. I'm talking about what I've already been doing. Before I even ran for city council at large, I was doing this work. Exactly. Housing is a human right. I believe in that.
Right.
That's crazy. Can I ask what is the percentage of the homelessness there that are Black? And I'm sure that the percentage for men is a lot greater than any, but because here in California it's like 56%.
Yeah, it's up there. It's definitely up there. But see, we don't get an accurate count because how they go about counting it is this point in time count where they go out for like a day or two. They have volunteers go out and survey the triangle. Basically, is because it's shaped like a triangle diagonally on a map. If you were to look at Denver, you would see an area called the Triangle, right? So that's where all the house and services are located. Coalition for the Homeless is located there. Samaritan House is located there. Jesus Saves, which we call Unsaved because it's not saving nobody. They actually recently caught fire. And the Unsamaritan House because it's not Samaritan. Those four alone fought against Initiative 300, said that we can do better. So every week I tell them, well, you know, you said that we can do better. Well, we're not doing better. We're doing worse. The sweeps continue. You're not housing people. The current mayor claims that he housed over 13,000 people in 10 years. But me and my lady are out on these streets every day, and we see the same people out on the streets. But to your question, Nasty Girl, I would say it's like 40% Black that are unhoused on the streets of Denver. But we don't get an accurate count because they say, oh, it's only 6,000 people that are out on the streets. But they're not counting people that's living in their cars. They're not counting people that's living couch surfing, living pillar to post, living in motels, hotels. They're not counting that. So what they're counting is the chronically homeless, the people that have been on the streets for 5, 10 years plus. That's what they're counting, but they're not counting the person that just lost their job last week and now they can't afford to live here. They can't make rent. So now their landlord has evicted them. Or they've had a slumlord where they had issues with their apartment and the slumlord won't fix them. So then they refuse rent and they get put out. I've been in that same situation.
It's crazy. And I know it snows in Colorado, right? With that ordinance, how are they going to tell these people you can't lay here or have a tent here and it's one of them snowing, it's winter or something like that? Like, that's crazy.
It is, and we're one of the cold weather cities. It gets cold here, like 6 months out of the year. It is cold. At least 6 months out of the year is cold here. So we're going into that season right now. So it's already starting to get colder. So we've been out at sweeps where they're sweeping people in a blizzard. I've literally seen them sweep people in a blizzard. I've seen them take people's tarps, sleeping bags, blankets, all of that stuff, throw them in the trash. There was actually a Black man by the name of Jerry Burton. He used to be part of my organization, Denver Homeless Out Loud. And he's a Marine veteran. And he went out and created his own camp. And he called it Jerryville. So we call him the mayor of Jerryville. So shout out to Jerry, because he was actually the catalyst for the tiny home villages that have recently sprung up. He was the catalyst for the safe outdoor camps that have just recently sprung up, and a slew of other things. But as any white liberal organization, they will not give Black people credit. But they want us to do all the work, but they don't want to give us the credit for the work. They want to take the credit for it. So,
brother, it definitely sounds like you are super tapped in with the issues in your city. You know what I'm saying? Talk about policy. What are some of the things that you plan on doing when you get elected to rectify some of these issues that you're pointing out. And also, it seems like, you know, a lot of these people who are out on the street would be some of your supporters and constituents. So what can you do or have you done about getting people eligible and registered to vote? You know what I'm saying? People that are in these situations, so that you can galvanize that support from the ground.
Right. So in regards to my policies, I have a whole working plan. I have several plans. But the first thing is a plan of service for the city, right? So we want to give the unhoused, our elderly, our youth, our single parents, our recently incarcerated, our people that are in rehab, etc., the right to earn their housing. So I have a plan in works where you would pay, we would work for your housing. So whatever housing you can afford, that's what you would get. We would have a phasing out process. See, in Denver, we have like 20,000 luxury apartments that are just vacant. They're just sitting vacant. But yet we have at least 10,000 people out on the streets. So I would have a phasing out process for one. For two, I believe in defunding, abolishing, and punishing the police. I'm the only candidate that's running that has literally openly said that on numerous platforms, that I want to defund, abolish, and punish the police. Now, I can't abolish the police straight out right away because that's a charter issue. And anybody that's running for political office would know about their individual charters in their city. My city in particular, our charter, since we're a strong mayoral city, the mayor is the one that dictates everything, right? So in order for him to change anything in the charter, he has to go to the voters. So what I would have to present a bill to the voters, and then they would decide to vote on it or not. And then I can make the charter changes to actually abolish the police and replace them with a peace force opposed to a police force. Other policies I have, I want to, like I said, I want to change the Denver charter. I want to hire and fire the police chief. I know the mayor makes many appointments. The main one is the police chief. Our police chief has recently stepped down. Now we have an intern police chief. He's a black man by the name of Ron Thomas. I have an all right relationship with Ron Thomas, but I'm not 100% sure if I would keep him under my administration, because we've had a black chief in the past, Chief John White, and it was no difference. It was just like, okay, well, the faces change, but the game remains the same. Right. So I want to do that. I also want to turn crime into a tangible, constructive, something that's tangible and productive. So I want to give you an incentive to do better as part of your sentencing. So like we have drug court, we have diversion, we have all these different programs within our legal system here. So I will want to expand on that. As far as our unhoused, I want to secure mobile modules, like kind of similar to like food trucks, and they move around so our unhoused can live in those. Temporarily, of course, like that's not the permanent solution, but instead of being in a tent, I would prefer you to be like in one of these modules or these tent homes. We have these tiny home villages now. We have to fight the city for years to get those because the city was like, no, it's not in the building code. So now it's in the building code. So now we can have these tiny home villages and we can have these safe outdoor camps. But like I alluded earlier, that was the idea of a black man by the name of Jerry Burton, who they don't give the credit for, but he's the reason why they have these camps. And these safe outdoor camps are basically outdoor shelters. I don't agree with shelters because shelters are full of disease. They're full of COVID. They're full of meningitis. They're full of tuberculosis. They're full of hepatitis. They have rats, roaches, bed bugs. I know because I've lived in shelters before, and we can do better, especially with 20,000 vacant luxury apartments. This city the current administration doesn't have the willingness to do it. Even though our current mayor, he was unhoused as a child, he has forgotten where he came from. He's the epitome of a sellout, and he's what I don't want to be.
I was going to ask you about the current mayor, and how long has he been in? Is he going to be running against you, or is there somebody else that you're going to have to go against? Talk about your opposition.
Okay, so the current mayor is termed out. The current mayor is Michael Hancock. I call him Michael Hancoon. He's termed out. He's been in since 2011, and before that, he was the city council. He was in city council for the whole 12 years. So he's a career politician, and so he's termed out. So we have an open slate. So I was the first one to announce I was running for mayor. I announced back in 2019 after the last election that I was going to be the next mayor of Denver in 2023. So since then, we've had 12 other people jump in the race. And like I said, what sets me apart.
Who stands out?
I mean, the obvious ones, the people that's already like in government, like Debbie Ortega, she's been in government as long as I've been living. That's 35 years.
Down, baby.
Leslie Harrod, who's the House District Representative for District 8, which is the district that I live in currently. And everybody else is either, there's three activists that's running. Myself, Ian Tafoya, and I'm just going to call him the nemesis. I'm not even going to mention his name. But we're the three activists. And then there's the Chamber of Commerce has run somebody by the name of Kelly Bro. She's now running, but she's claiming that she's not going to really get serious about running until after the midterm elections are over. For those that don't know, Denver is a very Democratic heavy city. Like, majority of the voters are Democrats here, but I don't want to be beholden to any party. I'm like Shogi Chisholm, except I'm FBA. I'm unbossed and I'm unbrought. So you can't boss me around and you can't buy me. They tried to buy me in 2019. It didn't work. So now they're running their candidates. So we have really wealthy people that's running. We have people that's clicked in with the already administration that's running. We knew the city was going to run their candidates. We just didn't know exactly who. Denver Post, which is the main publication out here, has been running little articles saying, oh, so-and-so might run, so-and-so's thinking about getting in the race, but it's not official until you file. So I filed officially April 4th, 2022, exactly a year before the election, because our election got bumped up a month because the voters decided in 2018 to bump the election up from May to April. So now it's April 4th. So if we were to have a runoff, that runoff would be in May.
Who's running of those people that you named or mentioned? Who's running on reparations?
Nobody.
So no one has a black agenda except you.
I'm the only one.
Wow.
Everybody else is on this all-inclusive. Oh, we got to include all these other groups. Oh, we got to do for them. We got to do for them. Oh, we got to take pictures with them. We got to go here. We got to go there. They're doing their, as my lady would say, their pretty little duck dance. Now, they have this thing called the Fair Elections Fund that Denver voters have passed in 2019, or excuse me, 2018. Denver voters have passed this. And basically what it was supposed to do was to make candidates such as myself viable. Because, you know, they throw these terms around. Oh, you have to be a viable candidate, blah, 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 blah. In other words, you have to have white support. You have to have white support behind you before your own people are going to support you. So they came up with this Fair Elections Fund where the city would fund candidates that are grassroots, such as myself, to run for office, to be able to compete in a race against an incumbent. But see, we have no incumbent now, so it's just a free-for-all. So now we have people that's raising ridiculous amounts of money for free office.
What are the requirements and stipulations for those city funds, though?
For those city funds, you have to, if you're running for mayor, you have to get 250 donations from Denver voters or Denver residents. The donations have to come from people that live in the city and county of Denver. Now, what they're doing with the software that they have right now is called Searchlight. And the clerk and recorder, who was the city councilman for District 3 for like 12 years, Paul Lopez, he's oversight of that. And what I think they're doing with me is they're literally purposely not matching my donations, because when I put my donations in the Searchlight, it says no match. And they're all Denver addresses. But yet, for some reason, they're not matching them. But my competition is getting matched. So, like Leslie Harris, she just jumped in the race. She literally just jumped in the race like less than a month ago. She already got her 250 donations. But that's because she's already clicked in with the Democrats that are here. She's already a representative, so she already has that voter base, right? So it was easy for her to go out and get donations, but for me, Ian, my nemesis, I'm just gonna call him my nemesis. I really don't want to mention his name because he's just I mean, but my nemesis, Mr. Roberts, we had to go out and get our donations. But Leslie Harris, she got some kind of privilege to get her 250 in one day. She got it in less than 1 day, in 22 hours.
So it sounds like that's the op right there.
That's that's the ops. And to make matters worse, now the Denver Post is now investigating this. And if the Denver Post is investigating, you're under fire, right? So they're like looking at the charter, like, is this possible? Can she do this? Can she hold 2 seats? Can she hold a seat and run for another seat? Because technically she still has the seat that she's in until November. And then Debbie Ortega, like I said, she's been in city council, she's been in city government, city politics as long as I've been living, for 35 years. She's been a city council member for 26 years.
She hasn't done anything for Denver, though.
Nothing, especially for Black Denver. She's overseeing all of this rampant gentrification, all of this growth, all of this displacement, all of this, everything that's been happening for the past 30 years. Debbie Ortega has overseen it in one shape, form, or fashion. So she's part of the problem than the solution. And the same thing with Leslie. And the same thing with a lot of these candidates. Like, a lot of the reason they're even running for mayor is because I jumped in the race.
Interesting. So what about open borders there, right? What's your stance on, open borders, legal and illegal immigration policies?
I don't support open borders, but currently this city is a sanctuary city. So when I become mayor, I would have to change
all of them luxury apartments for.
Right.
They're holding it for them and for the people that they want to move in. Yeah, because this is a sanctuary city. It's been a sanctuary city since 2011, since Hancock took office. So it's a sanctuary. So my thing is like, where's our sanctuary? Where's Black people's sanctuary?
Right.
In the jail?
Yeah. And that's not sanctuary, but yeah. My thing is like, where's our sanctuary? Where can we go? Like, this city is not for Black people, and that's been very evident, even under Black leadership. It's not for Black people at all.
It's crazy. And so, as far as your reparations plans, could you kind of break down your reparations plan? How does that look? Is it, direct cash payments?
Yes.
Is it, medical? Can you talk to us about your actual reparations plan?
How that works on a city level? Because I don't understand that. When I hear somebody running for mayor say they're running on a reparations platform, I'm like, okay, what can you do as far as reparations, on a city level? So yeah, break that down. But I also want to remind everybody what you said. This is a democratic city that we talking about. You're hearing all these issues and how Black people are adversely affected. This is a democratic run city.
Right.
Just want to point that out.
Another one.
Yeah, so my reparations plan is based off of what's going on in California. I know y'all are familiar with it, AB 3121. Yeah, you're there, Nasty Girl.
Yeah.
Naughty Girl, yes. So we're basing it off of that. We're basing it off of lineage. There is currently a reparations council that I'm in the process of meeting with to figure out what their definition of reparations is, because I didn't even know we had this going on in Denver. So when I decided to run, I was like, well, the new black media is like pushing these reparations hard, so we got to run our own candidates for office. So I'm like, well, pick me, choose me, I'm here, So it's based off of that. It's going to be direct cash payments. This city owes, even though this wasn't a slave state, they still owe, because a lot of the people that came here, such as Barney Ford, who was a real influential black man that freed himself from slavery and came to Colorado and actually helped establish Denver. Basically, they have a whole school named after him. Yeah. So we have some black founders of the city, but this has always been a KKK state. This has always been a KKK city. Don't let them fool you, because they think,
in the Democratic city.
Yeah, in the Democratic city.
Those are main
Democratic city. Those are the main ones. This city, the city I'm in right now, Aurora, is a sundown city. That's a neighbor. It's a sundown city. This is the same city that killed Elijah McClain and a slew of others. It's a sundown town. Denver at one time was a sundown town.
Wait. Refresh my memory on the Elijah McClain situation. Was that the kid, the teenager?
Yeah, he was a young man. He was in his 20s. Okay. I actually know his grandmother. She stays in the apartment building that I run a food bank out of every Sunday for the seniors. He was walking to the store. He was on his way from the store, right? He gets stopped by the police. He had a mask on. This is before COVID. He had a mask on, and they ended up putting him in a chokehold and then sedating him with ketamine.
There was a big that, right?
Yeah, he was a violin player. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I remember that story.
He was a real peaceful young man. He even told the police, I wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yes, I remember that story. Yes.
I'm just going home. So, like I said, I know his family, so that hit real close to home. And I participated in several of those protests that Aurora had in regards to Elijah McClain. And I guess his family finally settled out of court for like $5 million. The opposition is threatening them with trying to extort them for money. It's just not good at all. So rest in power to Elijah McClain. We actually have a song that was called "Message to the Mayor," and in the song it says Denver and Aurora are not the same, but we still say justice for Elijah McClain.
I like that, man. That's dope. Man, listen, let me tell you something. We 60 minutes into this interview, and now one tomato has been thrown in the chat, by the way.
Oh my God. Yeah. You survive without any tomatoes or pies.
I took your advice and I peeped the shows that you wanted me to peep out. So I watched the Marshall Dixon show and I watched the other mayoral candidate show. And they started throwing the tomatoes, I was just cracking up. It couldn't be me. Please don't.
Nah, you ain't come to play with him, man. And it looked like you even got notes over there and everything. So I appreciate that and I respect that, man. Being prepared, knowing your stuff. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm getting an education about Colorado and the city of Denver just throughout this conversation, because I don't know much about it at all. You know,
my best friend's family is actually from Aurora.
Word?
Colorado. Yeah. I mean, by way of Los Angeles here, but her family is from there. Her mom actually just moved back to California from Aurora. She went back to Aurora right when we're still in high school. I think right after high school, actually. So she's been out there since we left high school till like months ago. She just moved back to California. So I'm a little familiar with Aurora only, though.
Yeah, Aurora is bad. Aurora PD is horrible. We just had 8 officer-related killings this past week. We actually had a protest about it, a press conference about it on Monday. We're actually working on a task force to reimagine the police at the state level. I'm currently a member of the Reimagining the Police and Public Safety Task Force here in Denver, Colorado, and they have something similar in Aurora. And we've combined forces to create a statewide Reimagining the Police Task Force.
Man, so do you stand a real chance to win this seat, or is it just about getting our message out there? Like, what can we do as far as fundraising, as far as getting more visibility for you? I know Crown 808 asked earlier if you tapped in with any of the grassroots media in Colorado, some of the black grassroots media out there.
I have. Unfortunately, the media out here is coonified, but I have tapped in with them. I've been on several of their shows the past few months. So yeah, I have tapped in with them. The thing is, I gotta get out there. You know, I gotta promote my events. I have an event coming up on the 21st where I'm meeting with the seniors at the Kappa 2 Towers. And, you know, doing these interviews with the new black media. I mean, I figure that's how I'm going to get my word out, my point across, and get the know out. I dropped the link for the website, so if anybody want to donate, they can do it.
Yeah, I'll put that up in a second. Actually, let me do this.
Should we have maybe link him in, maybe with Marcel, to do a spaces? You know, he's been doing that a lot with some other candidates, I believe, out of North Carolina and another one out of Texas. And it's also just to get the message out there. He has a large, pretty large following, but, just to tap in with more of the grassroots, and to get your message out and, of course, get your support. Get the support.
I've met Vicky Dillard. I met Boyce Watkins, and I met BTX. Now, in 2019, we had the Black Agenda Tour, and we went to the Black Agenda Tour in Aurora at the Cashapp. So, like, since 2019, I've been on the Black Agenda, and I've been pushing it something heavy. I mean, seriously heavy, even before I followed to run for mayor. So, I think I just need more exposure with the new black media. And
so let me say this.
Heavy though, especially with those spaces, because the people be coming hard. Like this light work right here.
Of course. What I was going to say was this also. Well, first, I want you to answer the question. Do you have a real shot at winning this race?
Yes, with the Fair Elections Fund, I do. I just have to get 250 donations from Denver voters, and they have to be matched. Okay. That's the only thing, they're not being matched. So I think they're throwing a wrench in the game.
Okay. And so, yeah, I would agree with my sister, nyctegur, getting on those Twitter spaces, tapping in with new black media, such as this and others who have larger platforms with us. But the thing about that also, and I learned this from the Marcel Dixon campaign for Congress, is that the new black media could get you a lot of momentum nationwide, but to have that city support that you need for the people who can actually cast their vote for you, it's going to take on the ground, boots on the ground,
right?
And
we have that. I'm an avid public transit user, right? So me and my lady are burning up the streets with our flyers, getting the word out. Look, we got a big election coming up. That's a lot of people don't even know there's an election coming up. So they don't even know that there's anybody running besides myself. So I got that. Like I said, I got almost 15,000 votes in 2019. Now the hardest part is figuring out how can I translate that 15,000 votes, double, quadruple that base.
What about getting people registered?
Yeah, that too. We have the wristbands, denvervotes.org. That's where people can go to register to vote. We're going to start canvassing. We're going to start going out because we got to start getting our signatures to get on the ballot. So while we're getting signatures to get me on the ballot, we're going to be registering people to vote at the same time. And the people that we're registering to vote is the unhoused, the people that normally candidates don't even focus on. Most candidates, they focus on the business owners and prominent people like that. We are truly grassroots. And immigrants, yeah. We are truly grassroots. So we are definitely on the ground. Like I serve on many task forces, many boards. I'm out there. Like when I say I'm out there, I'm seriously out there. So like people know my name. Like a lot of the competition, they're doing their little duck dance because a lot of people don't even know who they are. So they're out and about doing a pretty little duck dance, trying to get name recognition, which I already have. My thing is I don't have any money. I need money to win this race, unfortunately, because this is going to be a $1 million plus race. Because, but lately the money's been losing with our local city council races. The money lost, so it's possible for the money to lose. We just got to galvanize enough people on the streets to get registered to vote, to support me, to vote, cast their vote for me in April 4th of 2023.
One of our listeners asked, are out of town donations considered?
Yes, we can get out of town donations. There just won't be matched.
It don't count towards that 250 that you need.
Yeah, but we can still use them. They just won't
you can still use the funds. And that's the good thing I was going to say about getting tapped in with the grassroots and getting on those Twitter spaces and stuff like that, because it's a good way to fundraise once people really feel what you got going on. And I think, from what I'm hearing from you tonight, you know what I'm saying, you the guy, you in your right lane. You know what I'm saying? You did your homework, you know what I'm saying? You talking the right talk. And I think you could galvanize that type of support the same way like a Marcel has done if you get tapped in and really be consistent with your message and with what you're doing. But like I said, again, that local stuff, that's going to take, and I think there's people within those spaces that can help you as far as ideas of what you should be doing on the ground also, because people are organizing all over the country in their respective cities and towns, getting things done on a local level. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be, especially now we got till April.
Yeah,
I
think like now is going to be the time for you to get active in those Twitter spaces. So I'm sure Nicey could kind of give you a formal introduction to plug you in with Marcel or somebody like that who could kind of co-host maybe a Q&A with you on Twitter to kind of get you acclimated and introduced to the family over there. And from there, you're just going to have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I just joined Twitter. So y'all can follow me on Twitter, JLP5280. Yeah, Jesse Parris 5280, Twitter. And I've been following several people of the New Black Media. Recently, I followed what is his name? What is the brother's name? He was just on the show the other day. What is his name?
On here, Brother Bennett?
No, not him. I follow him too. I can't remember his name right now. But on Twitter, I follow several people of the New Black Media, such as Professor Black Truth, Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black.
Well, I see Judge Joe Brown is following you, and that's great.
Yeah, Judge Joe Brown. Yes.
That's right. Great. So I just followed you. We'll get you. I'll try, to get you tapped in. Maybe schedule a space, so we can, like he said, do a Q&A with some other grassroots candidates that are, running on reparations platforms. And again, just trying to galvanize as many people, not only to get in place to help our people, but also get the message out, because it also starts with the message. To be honest, it's a lot of unlearning and relearning when it comes to our people, and when it comes to this politic thing, getting them off the Democratic plantation and start focusing on not on party, but policies specifically that are going to benefit us. So it's a whole, unlearning and relearning kind of thing with everyone, but you could definitely benefit off of a Q&A with the brothers there.
Yeah, that would be great if you could set that up for me. And for to answer Sincere Love the God's question, I plan to set up a reparations office here in Denver. I'm also the only candidate that's going to set up an office in the jail, and I'm going to donate half of my salary back to the people. I'm the only candidate that has publicly stated any of that. And for the reparations, I want to also encourage my people at the state level to support lineage-based cash payments, reparations, and encourage those at the federal level to do the same, because the name of this fight is you fight where you at. So I'm starting at the local level and working my way up to the state and then the federal level. Because at the end of the day, this is going to come from the feds, but we can start here at the local level. We can start by paying back those that were displaced due to all this rampant gentrification that's going on in Park Hill, North Park Hill, 5 Points, Whittier, Cole, Clayton, North City Park, West City Park. These are all predominantly, at one time, were all predominantly Black areas of town, Montbello, and now they've since become Lily White and Latinx.
Wow.
Can you walk us through some of the important parts of the website?
Yes. So if you want to go to the Black Agenda in Denver, that goes over what I plan to do with the police.
Is that you with the raccoon hat?
Yep, that's me with the
hat.
That's why they was trying to buy you out. They thought you was a coon.
They thought I was. I didn't realize I was a coon killer.
That's why they made them decorum rules at the city council meetings for your.
That's a picture of me speaking at city council. That's a picture of me on the steps of the city and county building. Some
of it is not showing on the screen, but
okay.
Hold on, I might need to zoom out of here or something.
A little bit.
Reset.
There we go. But a little.
Hold on. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These videos are me speaking at the Reimagining Task Force. This one on the right is me, my pops, the 60-Second News Network. That's what started me off with the media and politics. We used to pull up on politicians and sellouts in the community and expose them for the frauds, fakers, frauds, and phonies that they are, as Professor Black Truth always says. So that's me in the middle. I don't know if y'all can see me. I have a sign I'm holding, and I got my glasses on, my blue Lokes on.
I see you over there.
That was me, and next to me is my revolutionary pops, Chairman Sekou. So yeah, I've been doing this work, like I said, for almost a good decade now.
Well, keep it going. Now, are you galvanizing like a street team? A team of people that can do door knocks for you, phone banking. Are you going to the local barbershops? Wherever our people at? What I'm saying?
Doing exactly what you just said. I'm doing all of that. My godmother is actually the last Black. She owns the last Black-owned barbershop on 5 Points. They've been, her and my godfather Frank have been there for 55 years. They're literally the last Black-owned barbershop on 5 Points. So yeah, I'm tired.
Last Black-owned barbershop. That don't even sound right.
It's the last Black-owned barbershop on Welton Street. Welton Street was like our Black Wall Street.
I mean, most cities, if it ain't no Black businesses, it's a Black barbershop. You know what I'm saying? Like, God damn, the last Black barbershop?
The last.
That's the sundown town for real.
Yeah. So yeah.
Flournoy, what city are you in? Flournoy said, reach out to Lukman Nation, who has a channel here. Her deceased husband did a lot of work in this area, and I believe they are resourceful and may know somebody in your area. You out there in Colorado too, Flournoy? Yo, my voice sound crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, it do. You sound like a cartoon character.
messing with Taharka, man. And I know you wanted to talk about Taharka, man. So
I know you did.
let's get on that. Let's get on that because I seen you hop on his live a couple of episodes back, and you was putting that pain in over there, man. What's going on with our brother?
Man, he's just confused. He's just FBA in denial.
I think he's just clout chasing, to be honest. I think this is what he does. I'm looking at, and I haven't clicked on anything recently, but I'm just looking at his thumbnails, and it seems like he's coming after everybody that's kind of popping, like RZA. Minister Louis Farrakhan, like, how dare you? You know what I'm saying? He waited until Tariq closed on the museum to finally say something. So he sat on this. If you go back down his profile, I think the last time he had anything with Tariq in it will be with Tariq and Dr. Umar, and it's probably over 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. 5 to 7 years ago. And literally the day after Tariq announced that he closed on the museum is when he did the video.
Yeah. So
he's just been sandbagging, waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting and hating.
Exactly. Yeah, my lady, she agrees with you. She says that he's a sensationalist and he's just clout chasing.
And does a lot of that, what you call that plebiscite babble, that comes from, those people that's trying to sell sovereignty, even though he tries to talk against it. And I think that that's him just trying to create a little bit of balance, but he never really goes in on a lot of the Moors unless they really come after him first for something that we may say. Like, it has to be the obvious. It's like a white person pointing out racism. The blatant racism. They don't see it any other time. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be something like that for him to even call out anything that the Moors do.
Right. And I asked him directly on his show if he would, if he had interviewed or had Sabir Bey on his show. And he proceeded to start cracking up and busting out all kinds of books and said, this is what he's going to do. He's just going to say, oh, read this book, read that book, read this book. I just was cracking up like, man, isn't this the dude that you're like supposed to be following or clicked in with? And this is how you talk about him. So it's like there's no loyalty there.
We all reading books,
but wasn't that the same? Wasn't that the same show where he had Taj Tariq Bey's name in the title also? Taj Tariq Bey. I didn't hear the part where he spoke about him. I want to know what he was saying about Taj Tariq Bey if you heard it.
Taj Tariq Bey. I think that was a different show. The show that I was on, he was talking specifically about FBA, and he was trying to click us in with saying we were a government distraction.
That's recent.
I was on that one, and there was another one I was on, but I don't think it was the one that you just brought up, Sincere.
Okay.
Cool, Keithy, you're right. He doesn't talk about white supremacy, and he also gives them the respect by just calling them Europeans.
Yeah.
So he has a nice little pet name for them. He doesn't call out white supremacy. He'll just say something like, well, the European, but he doesn't call out white supremacy at all.
And over here at Team Parris, there's no white pastors given. There's no white pastors given.
But don't you need white support? I'm just being devil's advocate.
I need John Brown white support.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I don't even got no more questions for you as far as the campaign. We can just kick it.
Otherwise, yeah, we can kick it. But I'm definitely excited for you. I'm excited to, organize a Q&A with you with other grassroots reparationists. Definitely to get the message out, but also out there in Denver, anywhere our people are suffering, anywhere our people need the most help, which is everywhere, I'm down for that, especially someone that's B1, reparations first, FBA first, right? Lineage-based reparations, cash payments, and coming for everything that we are owed. I'm down for that. And you got my support. And you got the support of the Godcast. We
ain't say all that, Cool Keezy. We ain't say all that. Don't jump the gun.
Shout out to Cool Keezy.
Yeah, Cool Keezy threw us the alley-oop.
FBA salute to him. That brother been doing a lot of work. I appreciate him putting the music to the forefront for FBA. What else was I gonna say? I was gonna say, dang, I lost my train of thought. What I was gonna say. As far as the reparations, in addition to the reparations office, I want to create a crime bill for similar to the one that the Asians got, but for us.
Now, do you have the power to
on a local level?
Yeah, how's that on a local?
That works by punishing the police.
Got it.
We've had to settle out of court with so many times. Like the city has its own bucket of funds that has been using to pay off people that have been abused by DPD. So we want to put legislation in like, look, you can't do this no more. You cannot be harming our citizens like this. You can't, this is no longer tolerable. You're going to get fired. Not only going to get fired, you're going to be reprimanded. You're not going to be able to transfer to another department because you're going to be black marked or red listed or whatever the terminology is for it. And you're going to be without a job because we don't need no more race soldiers. The race soldiers got to stop. We need actual police officers, not race soldiers.
But the problem we have too with these police departments, and again, I don't know how this works locally, but those police unions, that's the issue too, because the police union comes with a lot of money to back these officers as well.
Yeah, we're going to personally sue them. Like Mama Love 58 said, I have to deal with the Fraternal Order of Police. And that right there, that's definitely going up against the beast.
Mm-hmm.
So they're scared because I already told them, look, I'm going to defund you. Ultimately, I'm going to abolish you. And I'm going to punish you. You can no longer just do what you want to do, do all this violent acts. You can't continue this. You can't keep killing us.
Well, we just need more training.
No.
We'll get more training.
No, you got to. That whole culture is violent. That whole thing needs to be revamped. That's why I said I'm on task force for reimagining the police. We don't need the police. We can police ourselves. And when I tell people that, then they're like, well, what about the crime? What are you going to do about the crime? Oh, I failed to mention, I have a bachelor's degree in criminology and criminal justice. So I literally study crime for a living. Like, that's what I went to school for. So if anybody has a solution to or a plan to alleviate or deal with crime, it would be me.
Well, crime is due to poverty as well. So once you address the poverty, you're going to already address the crime situation. So when people throw that out there, well, you talking about the crime, but what about, addressing poverty? We've already, made a solution. The solution is jobs, it's business funding, economics, housing, all these things, programs for the youth, so they can have summer jobs and programs where they can earn money and stuff. These are the things that we had when we were coming up that's no longer really accessible, to our youth now, right? So now you have little kids that's getting into trouble because what are they going to do with this time? Play video games all day? Especially boys, they need to burn off energy, and boys are naturally, it's a provider spirit. They want to earn. They're earners. It's in you. You don't have to be told. It's just what you know you're supposed to do. And so not having those types of programs there available for the youth to make money, but also for the community itself. People that's priorly incarcerated, a path for them to get out and get to work. Like Skamala, how she was having those prisoners do the firefighting. These same people cannot get out of jail and apply for the fire department because you have a felony.
Well,
nice girl for mayor, by the way.
Yeah, that's. I have worked on legislation to ban the box, so you don't have to put that on the application anymore. But it's still gonna come up. They're gonna still ask you, like,
for jobs. You mean?
felony. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
For
my thing
jobs,
is
for
the
jobs, for
penalty.
housing,
Yeah.
for anything that you got to fill out an application for. They're going to ask you that.
Yeah.
So I worked on legislation throughout the years to get that overturned. I've also worked on legislation over the years to get slavery off the books. You know, it wasn't up until 2019 that Colorado didn't get slavery off of their books.
2019.
Yeah.
What do you
Oh,
mean
so
slavery?
y'all
What do you mean slavery of the books?
The 13th Amendment. You are a slave. You are free until you are convicted of a crime and go to
Right.
jail. That was still on the books here in
Well,
Colorado.
that's still on the books throughout the country.
A lot of places, yeah.
Yeah. Here in Colorado, we fought to get it off. So now there's no longer the slavery on there.
So they don't do forced cheap labor for people that are incarcerated?
I mean, it still happens at the state level, yes.
Still
But
happens
here at the city level, not so much. I mean, I say it still goes on at the city level, but not as much as at the state level.
Okay. What about that's what I wanted to ask you. What about the DA out there? Y'all got a Fonnie Willis or anything over there? What y'all got going on?
We got an old white woman by the name of Beth McCann, and I'm actually on a board. Me and my lady are on a board, advisory board, and we just had a recent shooting back in July, where the police shot an unarmed brother. Well, the brother was armed, but he was throwing his gun away. He was literally throwing his gun away. He wasn't pointed at nobody or nothing. He was throwing it away, and they shot him. They didn't kill him, but they shot him, and they shot 6 other bystanders, which were all black. I believe they were all black or so-called POC. And they're talking about they're going to go through a grand jury. She said that she preferred it to a grand jury. The grand jury is going to decide if the officers are negligent and found guilty of negligence and endangering others. But, you know, the whole culture of policing just has to change altogether. We know the history. They're slave catchers, slave patrols, paddy rollers. There is no reforming that.
Per their FBI, white supremacists has infiltrated law enforcement as well as our armed forces, the military. So this is your FBI that has already said that they've infiltrated it. So how do you reform infiltration? You have to completely demolish it and start fresh.
Right.
And I think the fresh means us policing ourselves.
Right.
Once we get our reparations, again, we have, the economic part of it, together. And of course, we have other things to work on socially and things like that. But we will be able to get ourselves together. But we got to work on the economics first.
Right. That should be the number one priority is our economics. And bridging this chasm, it's not even a gap. It's a chasm at this point of this wealth inequality. Mm-hmm. And we're owed. We're owed for all of it. They owe us for so much. I mean, 20 trillion is just putting it mildly. On my platforms, we've been saying 100 trillion.
I mean, if they keep on delaying, the more they delay, the more it goes up. Interest is accruing, at this point,
But I was reading somewhere where it's actually like 906 trillion. I mean, that's a hard number for people to wrap their brain around. But yeah, we are seriously old.
We got it. You know what? They got it because we shown that
all they gotta do is print it.
Yeah, during COVID, all the money that they generated for that. The anti-Asian hate crime bill, they generated money for that. What they're doing right now for the Afghans, what they're doing for Ukraine right now. So don't tell me you ain't got it. Print it. The United States is a sovereignty, which means they have the ability to print their own money. Go on and get some ink. And
also, like, the way Marcel and others have broke it down where, it won't, there's ways you could do it where it won't affect inflation so much, what I'm saying, where it comes in phases, it's not all at once or whatever the case may be.
All at once.
But let me ask you this, though, because, again, I'm not all the way clear on what the powers of the mayor office are. Mm-hmm. So you won't actually have the ability to create a reparations program on a city level where you cut checks to FBA people in your city, but you can support programs from your office or push programs from your office that the Congress and the Senate and people like that could get behind. Is that how that works?
Yes. Yes,
And
I can do
I
that.
do it as well.
And you know, I haven't. I need to explore it more. But I think at the city level, you could cut checks to people. Like I said, that we've had people that's been displaced as a result of all this gentrification since 2000. We had people displaced as a result of redlining, going all the way back to the 1950s, 40s, and 50s. So I mean, I believe it's possible. I just think we need somebody that's in there that can actually have the will to do it. Because
when you talk about I'm sorry.
They
when
have
you talk about reparations as a mayoral candidate, is it reparations for slavery, or is it reparations for some of these racist policies historically in your city? Because again, you said Colorado wasn't a slave state.
No.
So what is the reparations for?
The reparations is for all of that, because we had people, like I said, Barney Ford, he was a slave. He came here and basically helped found Denver. So we've had people that were formerly slaves come to the state and set up shop. So it would be for that. It would be for redlining. It would be for Jim Crow. It would be for all of that. Everything that we have endured for the past 200-300 years.
Is it quantifiable numbers wise?
I believe it is. I mean, out of a $1.6 billion budget, I believe I would be able to cut some kind of check for those that were victims of said atrocities.
Okay. Now, also, you know, there's people that live in Denver that are not from Denver.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? FBA people that moved to Denver, but their family is not from Denver. Then you have people whose family been in Denver since old boy founded it, or whatever the case may be. Who would qualify? Who would qualify for the reparations program on the city level?
I would say if your family was a victim. Okay, so our current mayor, right? He has this buyback program, right? Where if you were redlined from 5 points or similar areas, you could move back, and the city would provide you with down payment assistance to purchase a home in the neighborhood that you were displaced from. So I would probably explore that more, probably expand upon that, because there's more funding that can go into that. And shout out to Rivero Stinnett. That's one of my big supporters. He's out of Colorado Springs, but here we are in Denver. I would say it's doable. It just needs to be looked at further. I would say I'll be definitely in favor of it. I think it is doable.
Okay.
You just got to write a plan, figure it all out, once you write it out, the plan and who it's going to be for, then you'll make it quantifiable at that time. But
and this is what we need from y'all, Rivero, Stinnett, and others who support our brother, who are out there in the Colorado area. Y'all got to ask him these type of questions, things that he may not be thinking about, in order to, help him fine tune his platform and his plan, so that he has it all together. You know what I'm saying? That he can't figure it all out on his own. So part of that support is going to be constructive criticism and asking tough questions also. You know what I'm saying? Not just saying, yeah, we with you, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Idea.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, he's out here running for y'all, right? Us, but y'all out there specifically in Denver. So Denver know what Denver needs. Black FBA Denver know what FBA Denver needs. So you guys need to speak with him to the needs of the people, and then he can kind of figure out how he can make that work once he is elected as mayor, to make sure that he not only help, FBA Denver, but everybody, but, Black first. But yeah. you guys got to definitely step in and just, I mean, he knows kind of what it is because obviously the homelessness situation, the fact that over 40%, of those homeless people are our people. So we already know what part of that reparation is going to look like. I guess in that package would be, some type of plan to get, our people housed, and resources, what I mean, what those resources look like, we'll be able to figure that out. But
Right. But man, other than that, man, I'm pretty impressed. Like I said, I think you don't seem like a fish out of water. You're in the right lane where you should be in, and we need more people like yourself. I'm not built for it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want people who just believe in it or may have a passion about it to just jump out there and say I'm going to run for this office. But people like yourself who really have done the homework and qualified yourself to be able to handle the position, and also somebody who's not afraid to speak up. It's one thing to come on SincereluvdagodCast and talk like this, but you running down in city council meetings and all of that with your pops and bringing it to the people, what I'm saying, where the power is at. And so we need people like that, man. You know what I'm saying? All over the country, we need people like that.
I concur.
And I always refer back to what Marcel says is, we always can't rely on other people, or we can't complain about what's going on in our communities. We have to run so that we make sure that we're in place to make the changes that we need in our community. So shout out to you for stepping up to the plate for the second time, right? In order to do that. And again, we support you, you know what I'm saying? And we hopefully can get more Coloradoans, is that a word?
Yeah,
Coloradoans to get behind you, push the message. Of course, if you're in Colorado, you're seeing this on the replay, or you're in the chat right now. If you can volunteer, for him, get those flyers out, do those door
emails, phone calls,
emails, phone calls. Make sure that you're also volunteering. There's always something that we all can do. I'll say for me, Marcel was in South Carolina. I'm in LA, but I was phone banking for him. You know what I'm saying? I donate to him consistently, even though that election is over. He's rerunning in 2024. He still has my support financially. And when he, needs me again to phone bank or anything like that, I'll do that. Again, same for you. Reach out. Let us know once you get everything, built. Reach out to us, and we'll lend whatever support that we can for you as well.
Thank you, Crown 808.
Do you have a donation button on the website?
Yes.
Let me get that pulled back up. That was the important screen you're supposed to take.
Right. 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 He said that he needed the money, but then he forgot about it. Yeah, we got to financially back the candidates. Remember, you got to put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
Deny yourself some Starbucks, till April, after April.
Right.
There we go. So yeah, donate here. Boom.
Yep.
There we go. Let's get our brother some paper, man. Whatever you can afford to donate. You know what I'm saying? He's stepping out there, doing the damn thing, speaking on the behalf of foundational Black Americans out there in Denver, Colorado.
Yep.
So whether you're out there or not, if you could come to the website. What's the website again, brother?
Official FLC21.wixsite.com/Jesse for Denver 2023.
All right, so this is what I'm gonna need you to do. This gonna be my advice for you.
Get a domain.
You're gonna go to Google Domains. You're gonna pay $12. You're not gonna pay no more than $12. When you get done doing everything you do, if it costs more than $12, you click some of the wrong buttons.
Okay.
You're gonna pay $12 exactly, and it's gonna be JesseParrisForDenver.com.
Okay.
You should be able to just walk out the barbershop and say JesseForParris.com.
Yep.
It should be something simple that's easy to remember.
Right.
So yeah, that's your homework right there.
Okay, got you.
But when you go to the website, family, you just click the donation button and come to this page, And like I said, whatever you can afford to give, let's get behind our brother. I'm feeling him.
I'm feeling them too, but I do have a couple more questions maybe though. So,
Okay.
what about, obviously, you may start getting a lot of attention, people start feeling your message, etc. And then they say, well, we like your message. We support reparations, right? But what about, LGBT? I'm saying, let's be real. They come with a bag, and they may say, we can support you, but we need you to tweak this a little bit. First of all, we don't want it to say, black first. We want it to say black and, LGBT.
No, I'll switch it up. If you're black and you're LGBTQ, then
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're already accounted for. You're already accounted for.
I agree. Absolutely. Yeah, so I just had to throw that in there because, honestly, we already know, we've had several people that come out here in these spaces, and not here specifically on the Godcast, but, talk that talk. And as soon as a butter biscuit is waved in their face, they forget all about the black first. They forget about their people. Next thing we know, they're living high on a hog, and they forgot about their people, and they're pushing, immigration and other, policies, and forgot about, the people in which got them in office. So I just want to make sure that, we're riding with the right one.
Right, you are. I'm not switching up.
No doubt. No doubt. So nice. You gonna plug them in on Twitter?
I will plug them in. I'll reach out to Marcel. I'll plug you two and see if we can schedule a Q&A, at a time that's convenient for you, and bring the family in. I'll tell you, it's nothing like this. It's hard. The Twitter Spaces questions are hard because I'll just say this. There's thousands of people, like ourselves that love Black First candidates and really, really understand what it is our people need. And we want to support the right people. The support is there, but for the right people. So our people go hard, because it's the vetting, what I'm saying? Right. But they definitely go hard, not in a mean way. It's just, are you real? Are we putting our money? Are we putting our time?
Straight up. Just straight up. No bullshit.
Because, it's do or die. What Dr. Claude Anderson said, if you already, haven't gotten anywhere in third place, and we already there. I think we already in fourth. What we gonna do? So it's very a slap in the face to me for any Black candidate, especially to be over here talking about Black and anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a diss to anyone else, but we need it the most. We've been at the back of the line, as our sister Vicky Dillard says all the time, long enough. We're putting ourselves first at this point, politically and everything. So
that's right. So any candidate that's seeking your vote, including myself, demand something tangible for your vote. That's all we put on Frontline Black News, the Revolutionary Agenda, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. And we're still waiting on you buying supporters to call into Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. That number is 516-418-5996. And press 1 and you'll be added to the queue every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
One more time with that number.
516-418-5996.
And hit option 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he needs a team. Definitely needs a team. I mean, that's going to make the difference. And again, we're already in October. He only has till April. So that team needs to be built now.
Right.
Yep. All right, man. So you got some work to do, man. Anything that we didn't think to ask you?
I think y'all covered a lot of stuff. I just had a few more things I wanted to address with my platform.
Speak on it.
So as far as employment for our brothers and sisters with benefits and hazard pay to receive training to protect and defend the most vulnerable, defenseless members of Denver, for wayward youth, incarcerated youth to the ages of 24 with incentive to live a clean, self-sufficient, life and be a contributing member of society. In addition, I am accessible. I am ready to listen. Tell me what tangibles you want to see from the next mayor. Donate if you can. We have platforms, Frontline Black News, every Saturday at 10 p.m. on YouTube. We have the Revolutionary Agenda also on YouTube. And we have Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Blog Talk Radio. And we're on Twitter. And we're going to be on Spreaker here soon as well. And in regards to the encampments, I want to recycle and reuse swept items from the encampments. I want to create mobile showers, laundry trucks. We have a laundry truck currently now through Bay Out Enterprises, so our unhoused are able to wash their clothes. I want to provide porta potties for the encampments and hire the people of the camps to keep their camps clean and do maintenance on them. I want to lower the AMI level. Right now, the AMI level is ridiculously high, and this is why it's become a high income city. I want to mandate developers to create attainable and accessible housing, meaning 0 to 30% AMI across the board. AMI is the average or the area median income of a given city or area. So I want to lower that because right now it's like at 60% AMI, which is just ridiculous. The linkage fee, I want to increase that because right now the developers are just getting off paying little change to opt out of creating attainable, accessible units. I don't even say affordable no more because affordable, it could be anything to anybody. If it's affordable to you, might not be affordable to me. So I don't even say affordable, but my competition loves to throw that around. And another thing I would like to add, I have several terminologies that I need to trademark and coin or get copywritten because my competition is using them. The first one is unhoused neighbors. I came up with that term because I said they're unhoused, but they're still part of our community. So now they're running around talking about unhoused neighbors, but they don't even know why they're saying that. They're just saying it because they think it sounds cool. Another thing that they're throwing around is equity, but they're not really trying to create equity. So we have to set the record straight on that. And then also tangibles. I've been the only person in Denver, really, besides Kool Keezy, that's been pushing tangibles.
And Vicky Dillon.
And Vicky, yeah. Well, Vicky's not in Denver. He's in Colorado.
What's your stance though on 2A? 2A. I don't know what the gun laws there are, in Colorado, but what is your feelings about, Black gun ownership?
Oh, I support it. I support it all the way. I used to be a part of several gun clubs, actually. Yeah, I'm in full support of Black people defending themselves and bearing arms.
Yep. Anything else, Nice D?
Nope, that was it.
It's about time. It's about time right now to wrap it up. Get to the formalities.
So, are you gonna put me on spotlight so I can get the people my?
Yeah. Oh, he already know.
You know how we do this shit. You know how we do this shit. It ain't time for that just yet, though. Right. Girl, do what you do.
Oh, so obviously, before we leave, what does freedom and power mean to you?
Freedom means the ability to define myself, to create whatever I want to create for myself, to be actually free, not to be constrained or restricted in what I'm able to do. And power is taken, it's not given. So we're taking our power. FBA is taking our power. We're taking our rightful seat on the throne, if you will, because we're tired of being at the bottom. We want to be on the top. And that doesn't mean that we're suppressing others or punching down on others. It's just we've been oppressed for too long, and enough is enough of this. So power is the ability to control your livelihood, where you can work, where you can go to school, where you can be housed. Everything that white supremacy controls, that's power. And we have to work to, in the 9 areas of activity: education, entertainment, economics, labor law, politics, sexual, and religion. We have to work to change that system to an actual system of justice, which guarantees that nobody is mistreated by the color of their skin, and those that need the most constructive help get it.
Boom.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Drop the
sir.
mic.
Shout out to Brother Booty Fuller. And since you've been waiting for this part, man, you acting like you got bars or something, man. What you
Right. Drop your 16.
Okay. All right. So I'm Jesse Parris. I'm running for Denver mayor. The election is April 4th, 2023. And I'm the candidate with the heart. I'm the candidate that can empathize with those that are suffering the most in this city, the vulnerable, the ones that have been forgotten and left behind. I'm a product of Black Panthers, of Garbyites. I am Black first. I've been Black first before it was cool, before it was a thing, before it was popular. And I'm going to do the will of the people. I'm not running for you. I'm running with you. So we're going to do this together. And Team Parris for mayor, is going to get this victory lap. This is going to be a marathon, not a sprint, Black family, like we always say on Frontline Black News. But we're going to get our victory lap, Black family. And we need to support candidates such as myself at both the local, state, and federal level across this nation. So I ask for your vote on April 4th, 2023. Redirecting the aim for us. It's about time that we're prioritized in this world, in this realm of politics. Thank you.
There we go. There we go. That's it right there. You got my vote, brother. You got my vote, brother. I'm fucking with you, man.
I know.
So my late uncle, his name is Jesse. My mother only had 2 brothers. Both of them have passed, but they're ancestors now. But my uncle Jesse, his birthday is April 4th. I don't know. I just feel like something in the spirit. I just thought about that. I was like, wait a minute. That's Jesse and my uncle's birthday is April 4th. I just feel like the spirit is telling me something. You got this.
Is April 4th the day they shot the cake?
Yep. Or 3rd. Wow. Either the 3rd or the 4th. Yeah. Yep.
And they do and they do shit like that too. The white supremacists.
Yeah.
They very ritualistic and strategic about shit like that also. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like I said, man, you got our support, man. This was dope. Like I said, man, keep doing what you're doing. Just be consistent. Get creative as possible. You know what I'm saying? Because when you lack the resources, you still have the creativity to boost your message and get it out there as much as possible. You know, think outside the box, man. Think outside the box. We behind you. We want to see you get the job done for the people out there in Denver. You know what I'm saying? And we need more. We need more, family. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to step up to the plate in their respective cities out there? You know what I'm saying? And do the damn thing, man. We need more.
Step up, y'all. Step up. And not that Breakfast Club step up.
Oh, God.
We're talking about.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, we ain't not that kind, brothers. Not that kind.
That's a whole different. A whole different stepping up.
Step back.
Shit. Damn, and you know what I just thought about too? They had that nigga on the show called New York Undercover.
New York Undercover. Repping y'all city. Repping your city.
Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
Y'all can have it. Y'all can have it.
All right, man. It's about time to get on up out of here, man. This has been another great episode of Sincere Love the Godcast, and this has been a special edition of the Black Business Showcase in our reparations series. You know what I mean? Any other reparations candidates, potential reparations candidates out there around the country, want to come on the GodCast and talk about your platforms, let us know what you got going on. Please feel free to hit me up or my co-host. I'm at SincereluvdaGod on all social media platforms. I'm just a DM away. She's at nyctegur with the #1 on Instagram and without the #1 on Twitter. Jesse Parris, let everybody know where they can find you at, brother.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook at Parris LaShawn. I have 2 accounts with the same name on Facebook. You can also find me on Facebook at Jesse LaShawn Parris for Denver Mayor on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube at Frontline Black News. And you can also find me on YouTube at Jesse for Denver Mayor on YouTube. And you can also find me on Blog Talk Radio on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. And that is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard. And Twitter, Jesse Parris 5280.
No Instagram?
No, I'm not on Instagram yet. I will
That's
be
cool.
creating an Instagram account though.
That's cool. Yeah, you should. You probably should, but Twitter is really where it's at, you know what I'm saying, with the political game and all of that. But Instagram is a good tool also if you know how to use it right. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. Make sure I got everything set up over here.
While he's doing that, don't forget to follow us tomorrow, you guys, for another episode of the Black Business Showcase. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have our brother Amadeus Christ, director, editor from San Francisco. Definitely make sure you guys check us out again for another episode of the Black Business Showcase. Thank you all again for tuning in, stepping up, watching us tonight. Thank you.
Y'all with this stepping up shit.
I don't know why I said that. See, for stepping up and coming on to the GodCast.
Thank you for having me.
Yo, hey, you a cast member, man. You a cast member now. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely is part of
Do
the
I
cast.
get a wrench? Do I get a wrench now?
You want a wrench, y'all?
Okay, we get you a wrench, man. You a cast member.
Okay.
Yeah. We appreciate your support, though. Thank you so much.
Peace, love, light, Black empowerment, and reparations.
Yes, indeed. And always remember, family, we are not the master teachers. We just the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace and Black love.
Most resilient, we poster children of prophecy fulfillment. We gotta be God's children.